Jai Sai Ram, Sivanath. Welcome to the 95. Sivanath is what I call one of the wonder boys in our center. He sings bhajans, he does service, he chants Rudram, and we are always very impressed with his devotion to Swami, even at his young age. And I understand, Sivanath, that you had a spiritual experience with Swami recently and that you have a story about that. Do you think you could share that story with us?
Sam, Aaron, Uncle. So I've heard from various elders from our center about experiences of Swami coming in different forms of God, like Goddess Kali and Goddess Gayatri. And I've always wondered how this was possible, and I just couldn't comprehend it. Normally, we do something called Sandhyavandanam, and during the Sandhyavandanam, in the middle, you do Gayatri chanting. So since I had more time during the summer and I didn't really have anything going on because of coronavirus, we were at home. So I decided to do more Gayatri chanting during that time to make that time productive. So this experience happened to me when I was doing more Gayatri chanting during Sandhyavandanam. It was more of like a slow process. While I was doing Gayatri chanting, it definitely felt long. I could slowly start feeling this warmth around me, and I could it's a feeling that when someone's hugging you with a lot of love, that's how I started to feel. And right after that, I saw Swami, and his when he was showing me his Abhaya Hasta, this just gave me like a complete warmth, and just basically felt like a hug. And I could just feel that warmth around me. As I slowly looked down, I could see his feet. He was wearing a beautiful white, bright robe. It certainly didn't look like cloth. It looked more like a bright light. Like when you're looking straight at the sun, that's how it felt. That's how it looked like, but you can morely see it instead of closing your eyes and clenching it. You could see him, and without clenching your eyes, you could see his robe. It was bright and it looked like the sun but white. This whole experience was super slow and subtle. As I said, the first few 15 minutes, I could feel that warmth and like a hug, and then slowly I started seeing Swami, and he didn't really motion anything. He just gave you could feel that he was allowing you to take Padanamaskar, and I could feel him allowing me to put my forehead on his feet. As I put my forehead on his feet, I started to really feel how his feet felt. His feet felt so soft and so amazing, and softer than anything in the world.
And as you put your head to his feet and you raised back up, I understand that you started to shake and tremble and cry on the outside. Do you remember that stuff, or were you in a totally different place?
Oh, I was in a different place. Like how I was and what I saw, I was just in complete bliss, and I could just see him. And at that point, that's all I could see, and that's all I could feel. But my mom and dad were saying that I was kneeling down like this with my eyes full of tears, and I was just crying. And but as for me, I was in a complete different place, and I could just see him, and that's all I felt. Definitely this changed my whole perspective on how Swami can appear to you and how he can give you visions. I know many foreigners that are not Indians. They get visions of Swami in their sleep, and that's how Swami calls to them. I definitely couldn't understand what they meant by that, but I can now definitely understand how that feeling was, and you could just feel him welcome you, and it was just a complete different experience for me.